I was listening to a behavioral change expert that was pushing back on the word habit when it comes to adopting healthy eating behaviors. Because the word habit is often taken to mean there is no conscious choice or the behavior is automatic, then it's misleading. Because no matter how good we get at choosing the healthy choice, we will always be battling our brain's natural tendencies to seek pleasure. I thought she had a very valid point, so I thought about it, and here is my current conclusion. As always, things can change, which is the point. Change, especially towards growth, is an absolutely beautiful thing. So there's a quote that I like: human beings can do anything they set their minds to, as long as they align with the laws of physics. So sit on that for a moment. But what exactly is a habit? According to the dictionary, it's a behavior pattern acquired through repetition or exposure that becomes regular or easier to perform. A habit is described as an acquired mode of behavior that can be nearly or completely involuntary. Note that it doesn't have to be purely automatic, as we often assume. Healthline, a source for health information, defines habits as routines or rituals that are unconscious or have become almost automatic, making them hard to change. This aligns with neuroscience findings about habit loops, which I've discussed before. These loops start with the trigger, followed by the action, and then feedback, usually positive, as it creates a craving, making your brain want to repeat the behavior for more rewards. If you've watched my previous videos, you might be familiar with the FOG equation, which states that behavior equals motivation plus ability plus trigger. Do you want to do it? Can you do it? And do you have a cue or a prompt to do it? While motivation and ability deserve deeper definitions at another time, this formula simplifies the broader picture of taking action. If you repeat an action, you probably have a reason or a reward that keeps you doing it. Now, let's delve into healthy eating behaviors. The term healthy implies promoting good physical and mental well-being. As I've mentioned before, individual genetics and environmental factors play a role in determining what's healthy for each person. However, there are basic nutrition practices that apply to the majority, as 99.9% of our DNA is the same. Think of the filling a jar analogy. So imagine someone hands you a jar and it's really big, and then they hand you 3 different bowls. One is filled with large rocks, one medium-sized pebbles, and one has sand. So the person instructs you to add as much of these elements to the jar as possible. If you begin with the sand, then you add the pebbles, will there be room for the rocks? Probably not, or if so, there'll be gaps. What about starting with the pebbles? Will you be able to fit all 3 elements efficiently? Again, likely not. The most efficient way to fill the jar is to start with the rocks, add the pebbles, and then fill any gaps with sand. So this demonstrates that focusing on the foundations of healthy eating behaviors or keystone eating habits make it easier to incorporate other aspects of a healthy lifestyle. Without these foundations, it's like building a house on unstable ground or leaving gaps in your jar. So do I believe all healthy eating behaviors can become automatic? No, I don't think they can be put entirely on autopilot, because there will always be an internal dialogue between your unconscious drive for pleasure or self-preservation and your conscious mind, which is more aware of long-term consequences. However, that doesn't mean you can't build new habit loops that help to drown out the noise, or at least make it easier to manage the conversation. If you've ever read The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, you might recall the story of Lisa Allen, a research subject for behavior change. She had a history of smoking, drinking, obesity, financial debt, and job instability. But at the age of 34, she was lean, youthful, debt-free, and had a stable job. She had quit smoking and replaced it with jogging, which led to a complete transformation of her life. And when asked about her journey, she described a downward spiral that led her to break down and decide that she needed to change. Then she said, I had to change something, at least one thing I could control. So she replaced her habit of smoking with jogging, and that led into a complete reformatting of her life. Okay, we've probably all heard of these amazing, beautiful stories, but do you know what struck me the most? When the scientists started examining her brain The neurological patterns of her old habits had been overridden by new patterns. There was still a presence of the old patterns in her neural activity, but those impulses were crowded out by the new urges. Not only had her habits changed, but so had her brain. How incredibly powerful is that? Ladies, I hope this empowers and encourages you as much as it does me. You can change. You can change. You can change. And this doesn't mean the struggle disappears entirely, but you can take charge and manage your actions. Become the person you want to be right now. Think and act from that place. That person craves daily success. That person craves feeling great in her body. You desire peace. And she not only desires it, but she knows it. And so she engages in behaviors that lead her there. So I'll leave you with this analogy. Healthy keystone habits are like perennial flowers, like tulips. So when you plant the bulb, it holds immense potential, but it requires careful placement, the right tools, and proper care. In the beginning, it demands attention to grow and flourish. Does a tulip grow and bloom year-round? No, it has seasons of flourishing and it has seasons of just surviving. But at the end of the day, it remains present, rooted, and ready for the right season to thrive once more. So that's a wrap for today. I hope you found this video insightful. If you have any questions or comments, insights to share, please feel free to comment below. And if you found this video interesting, a like and a subscription would be greatly appreciated. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.